So let me first talk about the slide structure, and then we'll get into the specifics of domain number one. You'll notice across the top, we have the different domain numbers, and obviously domain one is highlighted because that's where we're starting with. And then we're going to show you the title of the particular domain, Asset Change and Configuration Management, or ACM for short. And then I'm specifically covering the security profile number one objectives. And these are technically what are called objectives in the framework itself. So that being said, we'll follow this format throughout the remaining domains as we go through them. So this one is all about asset inventory and asset management and change detection. I'm not going to say change management because you're not really responsible for managing the change through a system, but you need to know what is being changed intentionally or unintentionally within your environment. So ACM 1A and 1B are all about asset inventory in general. So you need to have an accurate, current, up-to-date inventory of your OT devices, as well as some of your IT information, which is interesting and curious. And NERC-CIP, that's not an area that is specifically put in. But the last bit of that sentence is the important part. So any IT assets that are quote unquote important to the delivery of the function or important to the delivery of the process in some way. And this could be something like even accounts receivable, right? If that is something that's relevant, or accounts payable to OEM vendors, et cetera, then you need to have that taken into account in your inventory. Not to mention, of course, your OT devices as well need to be in there. And when we talk about OT devices, it's important to know that we want to have, well, the Australian government would like to have a list of your devices, but also what configurations are in place. How are they established? How are they set up to work with each other? ACM 2A and 2B are all about creating a baseline. In other words, how are they, let's have a line drawn in the sand. This is my device. This is my configuration for the device. The baseline for that device may have been collected yesterday. It may have been collected 2 months ago or a full year ago. The point is you have to have a baseline in place so that as time moves forward, you have something to compare against. So as time moves forward, hopefully you have an automated system. I'll be harping on automation throughout the webinar. Hopefully you have an automated way of collecting this information and an automated way to compare the latest collection of data with the baseline for that device. So then it's very simple to document, report, and provide for auditing purposes all the changes that have been taking place. Another big win would be the automation of collecting this information so that you could actually provide an auditor the difference between not only the baseline and today, but any 2 points of time, right? I want to see what's changed over the past 90 days, the past 60 days, the past 120 days. That is where now you realize it's an automated way of collecting this information is really, really important. Not only because it's a lot of information and it's tedious to do this manually on a spreadsheet or a tablet or whatever happens to be in use, but it also, finding the differences is very intensive from a manual labor standpoint. I don't know if you have any thoughts, George, or not on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen a shift in the market space where customers or companies once thought that managing their assets via spreadsheets and via people was good enough, and now they're changing their behavior and understanding that in order to be, compliant to whatever framework or adhering to a framework or compliant to, let's say, NERC-CIP, they have to automate this and they have to basically aggregate, normalize the data, and make sure that it's always correct. So there's definitely been a shift under this one aspect, and I do believe asset management, asset visibility, it's foundational to any type of framework security program.
Exactly right. This is one consistency throughout all the different compliance regulations, no matter what region of the planet you happen to be from or living in. Absolutely right. Excuse me. So another benefit here is detecting change. Detecting authorized change is one thing. It's good to document that and to provide that as an audit, but it also, from a cybersecurity standpoint, being able to detect unauthorized change, right? Now I have a document showing what has changed between last night and yesterday. So I can back out those unintended changes and then use some automated system to validate that, yes, you successfully backed those unintentional changes out.